There's always one man in the room who doesn't compete for attention.
He doesn't perform. He doesn't posture. He simply watches the room breathe.
You feel him before you understand him, like a shadow that doesn't apologize.
And that's why people label him weird, cold, or antisocial so quickly.
Because the easiest way to control you is to make solitude look like a defect.
If you can't stand being alone, you'll accept any crowd to avoid yourself.
And any crowd can be steered if they fear silence more than lies. So let's talk about the thing nobody sells you: peace without an audience. Most people confuse loneliness with solitude, then treat both like poison.
Loneliness is hunger. Solitude is training. They feel similar only at first.
The first minutes alone can sting because your nervous system expects exile.
Thousands of years ago, exile meant wolves, cold nights, and an empty stomach.
Today, exile is mostly a notification gap, and still your brain panics.
Isn't that strange? Your body reacts to silence like it's a predator.
And the modern world learned how to exploit that ancient alarm perfectly.
It presses your fear button, then offers noise as the cure you purchase.
Look at your day. How often do you reach for a screen without thinking?
Not because you're happy, because you're trying to escape the quiet moment.
That escape is expensive. It costs focus, self-respect, and your original thoughts.
The algorithm doesn't need to chain you. It only needs you restless.
Restless people scroll. Restless people buy. Restless people follow the herd.
And the herd always mistakes volume for truth, because truth requires stillness.
When you choose stillness, you stop being easy to sell, scare, and steer.
That's the real offense. Not your silence, your independence from their noise.
Here's what solitude does first. It exposes the addiction to stimulation.
Your brain wants a hit. News, memes, drama, anything that moves fast.
Cheap dopamine feels like relief until your baseline becomes dull and heavy.
Then ordinary life feels grey, and you assume something is wrong with you.
Nothing is wrong. Your receptors are overfed, like a tongue numbed by sugar.
So the first gift of solitude is withdrawal. Uncomfortable, honest, and necessary.
You sit there, and the urge rises, and you don't obey it.
That moment is where your sovereignty begins. One breath at a time.
You don't need a monastery. You need a block of time with no exits.
No music. No scrolling. No just checking all messages to soothe your nerves.
Start small, but make it real. 30 minutes where you meet yourself. The itch will come. Your mind will bargain. Just one video. Just one look.
Say no, and watch how quickly your attention stops begging for permission.
You'll notice details again. Your thoughts, your posture, the tension in your jaw.
And for the first time in months, your mind won't feel rented.
Now let's go darker, because this is where most people run.
When the noise stops, your memories show up like unpaid debts.
Failures you buried, promises you broke, the gap between who you are and who you know you could be. That gap is what people call anxiety, but it's often just truth knocking.
Truth doesn't knock politely. It knocks like a storm because it wants change.
Most men silence the storm with entertainment, substances, or constant social company.
Because garbage is easier than the mirror, and the mirror doesn't flatter.
But if you stay in the room long enough, something shifts inside you.
The mirror stops being an enemy and starts becoming a tool.
You begin to ask questions that don't sound nice, but sound accurate.
Why do I chase approval from people I wouldn't trade lives with?
Why do I say yes when my stomach says no?
Why do I keep repeating the same self-betrayal and calling it circumstances?
This is shadow work without the poetry, just you and the parts you avoid.
And the man who can face himself becomes hard to threaten from outside.
Because what is a boss's anger compared to your own honest confrontation?
What is rejection compared to accepting the version of yourself you kept hiding?
When you've sat in darkness and didn't die, daylight becomes less dramatic.
Your fear tolerance rises, not from motivation, from repetition and truth.
You stop needing people to reassure you that you're fine.
You become fine because you proved it to yourself, in private.
That's why solitude is scary to systems built on insecurity.
It manufactures confidence they can't invoice or regulate.
Now, let's talk tactics, because silence isn't only spiritual, it's strategic.
In any room, the person talking is revealing. The person listening is collecting.
People leak their fears through jokes, their greed through compliments, their plans through over-explaining.
And the man who can sit in a pause without fidgeting becomes a problem.
Because pauses force truth. Pauses force the other person to fill the space.
And when they fill it, they show you their hand, usually without realizing.
Solitude trains your nervous system to tolerate that pause like it's normal.
So when negotiation arrives, you don't scramble to soften the silence.
Picture this. You name your terms calmly, then you stop talking.
Not to dominate, just to refuse to leak your leverage.
The other side shifts in their chair. They offer explanations you didn't ask for.
Budgets, timelines, constraints. Suddenly you know where the real walls are.
That information is power, and power often arrives through silence, not speech.
Most people can't do this because they fear being disliked in the pause.
But if you've practiced solitude, you don't fear that feeling anymore.
Now another ugly truth. Constant availability makes you cheap.
If you answer instantly every time, you teach people your time is free.
Free things get consumed, then forgotten, because there's no cost to disrespect.
Absence changes that. Absence creates a vacuum, and the mind hates vacuum.
When you're not always there, people start assigning weight to your presence.
Not because you're playing games, because scarcity is a law of attention.
And solitude gives you controlled scarcity without bitterness or theatrics.
So you stop attending every invitation that drains you.
You stop explaining why. You stop negotiating your boundaries with the crowd.
You choose the gym over the bar, the book over the party, the plan over the gossip.
They will call you boring, distant, arrogant, changed, whatever protects their comfort.
Let them.
Because while they wake up needing noise to feel real again, you wake up sharp.
You wake up with progress. You wake up with clarity. You wake up dangerous.
Here's the real payoff nobody admits. Solitude gives you the walkaway option.
And the walkaway option is the core of power in any deal.
If you need the job, you'll accept disrespect. If you need the relationship, you'll tolerate lies.
Neediness is emotional handcuffs, and people can sense it like blood in water.
But when your baseline is peace, you stop begging for outcomes.
You evaluate offers like a judge, not like a starving man at the door.
And when something is beneath your standards, you don't argue, you disappear.
That's why the loner is misread as alpha or sigma or some label.
Labels are cages with cute names. The crowd uses them to make you predictable.
But the most dangerous man isn't alpha or beta. He's outside the game.
He steps off the board, and suddenly the monopoly money of status looks ridiculous.
He stops chasing likes and starts stacking competence, assets, health, and time.
Because those currencies survive trends, survive gossip, survive mood swings in a room.
And when you have options, your posture changes before you even speak.
People think solitude makes you cold. It can do the opposite.
When you love your own company, you stop tolerating low-value company.
Your standards rise, and your relationships become fewer, but harder, cleaner, real.
You don't collect contacts like candy. You build alliances with people who keep promises.
2 or 3.
And those bonds beat 100 shallow friendships that vanish at 3 a.m.
Solitude doesn't kill connection. It purifies it because you finally choose, not crave.